Да, я тогда, значит, выключаю, да, свое видео, потому что, чтобы не отвлекать на лишние лица. И жду. Да.
Что можем проверить, Райни?
Мы слышим аудиторию. У вас же уже давно записывается.
I'm Rайни Hauzер. I think most of you know me. A process worker, a psychologist, and very interested in group facilitation, group dynamics, group interaction. Welcome to everyone.
Приглашаем вас к нашему третьему открытому форуму. Сегодняшний форум отличает от предыдущих двух еще и то, что мы его записываем. С нами команда Mamaki Фильм. Пожалуйста, чувствуйте себя абсолютно вправе говорить с выключенными экранами, с измененными именами. Мы не можем гарантировать вам безопасность. Пожалуйста, позаботьтесь о себе. Вам может быть болезненно слушать то, о чем мы здесь говорим, то, как мы говорим. Вас может это еще больше поранить. Мы этого не хотели бы. Именно потому что, на наш взгляд, прямой диалог между российской и украинской стороной еще очень сложен. Может быть, в какой-то степени невозможен.
I'm living in Zurich already about 15 years. I get married with a guy from Switzerland.
Okay. We also want to support you to not say what you feel is not, you don't want to share. Please only share what you want to share. I want us to feel comfortable here, as comfortable as possible in this terrible situation.
It was a very difficult time for me as a Russian.
As a Russian of origin, yes.
Yeah, that's something absolutely impossible for the heart, for the brain. And when all life long we hear that it's our brothers, brothers' country.
It's
difficult
shock and
time.
painful. I can
That
feel
was-
your pain.
So it was 1 month, it was just crying, crying, and you have no idea what to do.
Насилие, оно, по-моему, обладает таким свойством, оно как бы это настолько больно, настолько страшно, что мы не хотим этого видеть. Оно имеет такую функцию. Нашу психику говорит, это настолько страшно, что этого не может быть. И вот здесь нельзя заснуть терапевту. Кто-то должен сказать: Боже, это больно, это было так больно, это было ужасно. Вот терапевт этот момент не должен пропустить, а сказать: стоп, этого не должно было случиться. Мне так жаль, что это с тобой случилось. И спросить, что тебе нужно. Вот у тебя есть какая-то идея, что тебе как бы помогает, могло помочь? Что я могу что-то для тебя сделать сейчас, да? Иногда нужно просто вот быть с человеком в этой боли. Говорит: я вижу, что тебе больно, я с тобой. Shit happens, но я с тобой. Давай замедлимся здесь. Ничего сделать-то нельзя. Но нельзя сказать, что ничего не произошло.
Я прекрасно осознаю, и во мне есть тоже голоса и переживания, которые говорят, что вот это наше бесполезно, что мы не можем сейчас поговорить и договориться действительно людьми, разделяющими противоположные точки зрения на происходящее. Я прекрасно понимаю и знаю в себе этот голос, который говорит, что сейчас невозможен диалог, что лучше вообще устраниться из него и уйти в внутреннюю миграцию, не участвовать в происходящем, а просто делать то, что получается самому.
Всех приветствую. Я первый раз, и слушая, очень захотелось поделиться, кто я в этой ситуации. Ну, то есть это прям тотальная беспомощность, непонимание собственного соотношения с этим и такая некоторая сюрреалистичность происходящего. Сильное впечатление, которое до сих пор висит во мне какой-то картинкой, но непонятно, в какую сторону тут двигаться и что с этим делать.
Сегодня у моей хорошей знакомой, которая живет в Киеве, день рождения. Я удаленно через Facebook слежу, как они. И мне очень хотелось хотя бы просто оставить сердечко под этим постом, где идет призыв к сбору средств. И я поймала себя на том, что я не могу себе позволить как-то внутренне. Я просто боюсь. Мне очень стыдно за это.
Thanks for sharing. Painful.
Очень больно.
Как вот мне кажется, что может возникнуть такая привычка, что ли, да, или да, идентичность, вот что я там слабая, да, или я не даю отпор, или там другие, пускай там за меня этим занимаются, да.
Как ты можешь дать отпор? Ты не можешь дать отпор. В этом-то и трагичность, в этом-то и насилие. Ты не можешь. Ты можешь пытаться. И вау, ты пыталась себя защитить. Но говорить тебе, что ты должна дать отпор,
понятно.
Никто, мне кажется, это в корне неправильно. Там, мне кажется, нету ничего другого, как когда-то себя признать, что ты слабее, что ты слабый. Ты не можешь ничего, действительно, ты связан по рукам и ногам. И тебя убьют, если только ты вякнешь что-нибудь. Ну, убьют тебя. В этом-то и ужас вот этой вот теории, что ли, позиции силы. Что сильный прав, что сильный может. А слабый, не знаю, что может сделать слабый. Понять, что он слаб. Проиграть, умереть. Кричать о помощи, может быть, если есть силы, если есть. А может быть, ты и не можешь кричать о помощи. Да, там же тоже наша психика, там очень мало выбора. Ты можешь бежать, ты можешь пытаться себя защитить, либо ты можешь впасть в полный ступор и не мочь себя защитить. Да? В какой-то момент мне дал ответ Эриксон. Он сказал: тебе было больно, ты страдала вот в этот момент. И именно это делает человеком. Человек вот так себя ведет в этой ситуации. Именно это была твоя человечность. И это был, ты на то, что он с тобой делал, или то, что она с тобой, это было бесчеловечно. А ты в своей боли, в своем бессилии, в своей невозможности себя защитить. Вот это то, как это переживает человек в такой ситуации.
Волнуюсь. Бьется сердце. Как-то вот когда подхватил свой импульс поднять руку, прям тут штормит. Я волнуюсь. Вот. И как-то я хочу обвинить, но я также хочу и поддержать того, или тех, кто найдет возможным встретиться с моим обвинением.
Я не думала о том, что захочу говорить, но когда Саша начал... Есть вещь, из-за которой я лично испытываю огромный стыд. Я чувствую себя соучастником преступления, которое сейчас происходит.
Это спонсировалось и поддерживалось НАТО и Штатами с целью ослабить и, возможно, так или иначе свести лбом наши два народа. И это моя боль, Но сейчас я верю в то, что похоже, что это единственный какой-то путь.
Я просто чувствую, как во мне злость поднимается. На мой взгляд, это демагогия. Потому что вот прямо сейчас разрушаю другую страну, нашу имени.
Просто система, вся цивилизация, которая есть в мире, я не могу из нее эскейпнуться. Но я останусь внутри страны, я останусь под каким-то лендлордом. И меня это правда бесит. Я не понимаю, почему я не могу... вот я родился как живое существо, почему я не могу быть свободным? Я сейчас не понимаю, что я могу делать для того, чтобы изменилась вся цивилизация. Вся цивилизация с этим капитализмом, с этими... технототалитаризм, когда реально дегуманизация происходит.
Dishumanization.
Yeah. People say that it's important not to see a human being on the other side with the pain, with the suffering also. But I think if you're not in the battlefield, then we need to see the human on the other side, not to kill human in us, I think. But I don't know what you think.
I can't imagine. I just read Stiller by Max Frisch, the famous Swiss writer. And this Stiller went to the Spanish Civil War to fight, many Swiss went. And so he had to protect this one bridge with his gun. And then 2 Franco or 3 Franco soldiers came across the bridge and he just couldn't shoot. He just couldn't. It was an act of humanity. He didn't shoot. So he was not quite completely frozen and he didn't quite dehumanize the other. Yeah. Well, do you think that there's moments where we need to be less than human?
Well, first of all, I've never been at the war, so I don't have that experience. So in my life, I want to live for love and happiness and wishing it the same to others. But also, I went through medical school, and I know that when there is a surgery needed, you have to put your patients to sleep. I mean, she cannot be fully human and feel pain. So I know that there is this aspect, needed aspect of anesthesia, yes, or frozenness that sometimes could be helpful to make it better after, So, but to choose when and how, I think this is moral decision that I've never taken in my life.
Eva, you can be very cold and precise. I'm also inviting all other voices that are opposing this, my personal viewpoint. And my conscious attempt is to address all opinions and embrace all opinions, as painful as they may be. So that I'm not neutral is a conscious decision, and it just so happens feeling-wise.
Мне так страшно за тех, кто здесь, и я понимаю, что я абсолютно бессильна. То есть я пытаюсь что-то говорить, но я чувствую, что как будто у меня отнимают это право голоса. Мы утрачиваем будущее, мы утрачиваем сейчас связь, мы утрачиваем связь с тем миром, который мы считали своим. И для меня последней каплей был вот этот разговор, надо наказать всех россиян, чтобы они наконец поняли, проснулись, пробудились А вот дальше что «и»? Тогда я слышу это просто как предложение. Давайте мы их накажем всех, чтобы им всем было плохо. И я не вижу в этом смысла, потому что человек, которому плохо, он не может никому помочь. Я это ощущаю по себе. Когда я ощущаю поддержку других, у меня есть силы для того, чтобы помогать. Когда я живу и со всех сторон я вижу я слышу эти постоянные обвинения, я понимаю, что у меня заканчивается ресурс.
It's really hard emotionally to watch that work and not feel compassion and not to cry. What was new for them?
So I'm not always looking for the new, but I think what I've learned in terms of therapy in the recent years, that it's more than doing any particular thing, like a task, is to listen and to be present as a human being. And what's new for them was certainly they could share it with a Swiss psychologist. I think that's healing. Those are healing experiences.
When I went to the Hauptbahnhof, the main train station, and suddenly I met someone, volunteer, and I asked if I can help. And then during this volunteer job, it was very easy actually. We met people who came from the train, try to explain everything, and maybe we went together to the store to buy SIM card, for example, or so we try to organize basic help. And almost at the beginning of this work, it was one family, grandmother with young, no, it's not teenager, it's almost man, 17 years old. Yeah. And then I invited them home, and my husband and son could have a chance to talk to them. And then everybody looked great. We just tried. Wow. We just tried.
It's a big heart. You have a big heart.
It was help not only for them, it was help for us. You cannot imagine how it changed my life. That was so helpful. I could breathe for the first time. So I would say it was help mostly for me.
That's a very important moment when it changed from couldn't breathe, pain, to breathing again.
That guilt is a huge thing in the field here. It was a huge. And I was also challenged by Olga being a regular person taking such decisive action. Inviting someone, offering a room, helping them was quite amazing. So sometimes I think the clients are more advanced than me.
Can I ask you, do you have family in Russia?
So my daughter now there, just on the border of Ukraine. So of course I worry about her. And my mom, of course, their sister, so and many friends.
So you talk to them on.
Oh, that's another topic.
Maybe we briefly touch that topic.
So I had conflict with my mom. That was
Tell
worse
us about
maybe.
that. Yes.
Yeah, many families has big conflict. Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about your conflict with your mother. How is that happening? You love each other. Your family. You had good relations.
I think it's very important to stop contact with those who don't understand situation, who dreaming, you know. We have to show that we don't support this idea. We don't support this way of thinking.
So you think if you relate to them, which is often my hope, to still relate to them, hoping that they a little bit hear you and you hear them a little bit, and so there may develop some type of understanding. You think you're hopeless in that sense?
Absolutely.
Absolutely
I
hopeless.
tried.
What made you so hopeless?
I asked them to read book, for example, about or watch some movies. If they close completely, if they don't have a chance for me to say my about my position, then why should I fight?
So how was it with your mother?
And with mother, I stopped relationship for a long time. We didn't talk because I told, give me a chance just to explain you why I think that's totally wrong way.
You ask your mother, give me a chance
Yeah.
to listen to me.
Yeah, I explained that she has to read, for example, Orwell. Then it's so
Read
easy
Orwell.
to look from another side.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure she would not like, because she's from the Soviet Union mentality. But at least she will see another side.
So she read it?
No, that's the problem. She didn't want to listen. She didn't want to hear.
And when you said, I cut contact, mother?
So I hope she was first maybe angry, maybe crying, but maybe she could watch those movies what I sent. Actually, it was true. She told me, yeah, I watched your movies. And nothing happened. Several weeks she didn't go to the contact, and then suddenly mother from my friend died, young.
Mother of your friend.
Yeah, and then that was important for me, of course. Then I called my mom.
Oh, you're smiling.
Yeah.
That was sweet. You contacted her again.
Yeah. And
then?
First what she asked, someone from our family is in Ukraine, how can we help?
Oh. So your work with her somehow, there was a light to relate to her, helped. That's my hope, all that too, that if we continue to relate, you send movies, books, we debate, we fight, we stop relation, we start again.
No, I still think it's not working. I think it's not to really have a good result.
Yes, I don't think it's the result matters so much. It will take time. It will take time.
We cannot save ocean when we switch off water, but we do at least something.
Exactly.
Then you feel better when you at least something.
Thank you. I think that is a good ending here. We do something like we switch off water. We don't save the ocean, but we save a little bit of water.
Yeah.
We are afraid to be not knowing. We are afraid to be weak. Or
You mean as a culture? As
Yes.
a culture. Because from my experience, if I'm weak, then they will run all over me. Whoever they are, they will hit me again and again and again. So that's a cultural fear that I just have in my bones.
Well, I think that's really a very patriarch thing. I mean, not just Russian, all over the world, right? If I'm strong, or I need to be strong, men need to be strong, men don't cry, men defend their women and families, and so this whole posture is sort of like the nature of men. So I think actually it's a very oldish model.
Я буду говорить из роли, назовем ее так, наивного живого существа. Вот человека не в смысле гражданина какой-то страны с каким-то паспортом, а вот живого человека, как птицы, как червяка, как медведя. Меня бесит, что я родился, пришел в этот мир, который устроен вот так неправильно.
Thanks for sharing.
What would be the newish model?
The new model is a continuum of more modern psychological frames, a development, postmodern, from old patriarch, classical, like from Afghanistan type, Taliban type, imperial, to modern and postmodern where nothing's true, There is no firm ground. It's all a matter of negotiation. Feelings matter. Sensation matter. Relationship matter. And that's sort of, if you think of a few hundred years, I think that's more and more, the model is changing.
Can you unfold a little bit the new model? I'm not getting it.
Let's say classically the dead patriarch, but I imagine this figure is not interested really in the experience so much of his children and of his many wives, but sort of stuck in his dogmatic frame. It's like almost like religious fanatism.
If we go towards feelings and towards unknowing, we become weaker, and then whoever is stronger will conquer us. So
yeah, that's a very deep-rooted myth of Western society. It's basically Darwinian and neo-Darwinian model, the survival of the fittest. And that's how we came to be who we are, by selection, by natural selection through fitness.
Right.
And there is another model which is sort of secondary, which is we came here through collaboration, not through fitness. It's a wrong approach. It's not true that the fittest survived. It's more like a network of relation, and out of these relations is development. It's a completely different approach. But it looks like these are two competing models.
Yeah. I like the model of relationship, and
there are scientific supports of this model in philosophy, also in neurobiology.
Communication is maybe a bigger power than strength. Could be a bigger power than strength. Like could be an evolution of perception of our power. Like no.
I think so. I think it's a change also that you start to realize that weakness is strength. It's a bit of a platitude, but sensitivity is a strength. If you're sensitive to the smells, to the air, you're adapting.
Right.
And if you're not, if you're very one-sided, you don't perceive what's happening on the fringe. You run into the wall.
So like feeling pain is actually good for your because with Katya we spoke about being human and allowing yourself kind of to feel pain, something like that. So feeling pain is not only, oh my God, why am I feeling pain, but it's also a new skill. No?
It's an adaptive quality, like fear. Like fear too. Fear is very useful. If you're not afraid, you're going to be shot pretty quickly. I think in this model here with the collaboration, you have many alternative worldviews and you discuss them and you try to find together the best way. Of course, it's idealistic. It may be seen as idealistic because some are not interested in healing the world because they make a lot of money by oil, by coal. They may not be ready yet, but one day the temperature will also tell them that they have to change. This is more a self-organizing system versus here is sort of a decision-making, strong male in your words who is all isolated and alone. And if you're weak or if you're ill, even the strong man needs a hospital, needs a nurse, needs care.
But this looks like a body, no? Like our cells, they're in communication with each other. So this looks like more like a live system, no?
This looks more like a live system, like an organism. This looks more like a brain, just an isolated brain.
всегда все, что происходит, гораздо проще объяснить теорией заговора. Это буквально математическая теория, там в теории игр. И поэтому самое простое объяснить, что кто-то злобный со стороны все это устраивает. На самом деле это устраиваем мы сами, и нам сложно это осознать. Вот так происходит наша эволюция и в такой трагедии.
Есть ощущение, что во многих, кто сейчас говорил вот до этого, есть такой вирус вот этого империализма, что давайте мы вот здесь установим такую империю и попрем, куда глаза глядят.
Maybe you can support me a little bit as a Russian. I get sometimes I get criticized for having imperialistic character. I'm not really aware of how I do it. I want to correct myself. So how as a person, or me or other Russian people, how do we do that? How are we imperialistic?
First, I would think that maybe that's a projection of the other person, that she sees you as imperialistic for her own reasons. It could also be that you actually do display double signals, right? And that you have certain signals of rank, maybe you have a certain rank that you want to become more aware of. If we take the attack serious, that this person sees something, like let's say 5%, the other person is somehow right.
Okay, let's say 5%. She's
So we
right.
can learn from that person. We can ask that person, what do you see in me? How am I imperialistic? Just because I'm Russian is not a very good reason. Then you would identify me just with a nationality, but do you also see in my behavior actually now? How does this tendency show? I would just show interest in trying to learn. The other person would say, your Russian part is just obnoxious.
Yeah. And I would say, how am I obnoxious? Yeah?
How am I obnoxious?
I'm curious.
Well, you travel around the world and I can't. I'm stuck in Minsk, for instance.
Yeah. That's true. But why is it bad?
Good question. Then, yeah, so you're interacting with that attacker, and I would say, I think you're thinking you're better than me. That we would have to enter the context and the details.
Yeah, so
oh, yesterday, yes, you took that seat, and you didn't ask me if I wanted it.
Right. Oh, sorry.
Oh, thank you.
Sorry.
Thank
I
you.
will never do that again.
Thank you. Next time, use your privilege and offer me the seat. Don't hate yourself. It's just an example.
That was a good one.
It's just an example. So I think it is working because you do feel somewhere guilty. And that's the problem I would work with. That you're imperialistic is bullshit. You're just because you're Russian. I wouldn't believe that. But that you have these privileges, yes.
I'm a bit imperialistic towards others because I have to protect myself from others who are stronger.
Show us how you are a tough woman who will be protecting her resources, and you better don't dare touching my resources. Yeah. And also the American in the background who's going to steal all your resources is another dream figure. And you can also show me him or her. And more experientially, not so much theoretical. I think this wrestling with your authority and the American in you, the big thief or the one who's going to take and the one who is tough, that is beautiful dream figures that you need to explore more. Maybe you want to show us that American. That's the worst. The American in the background.
The American.
Let's show.
I don't know.
Xenia, I would say, I need to be tough. I'm Russian, I need to be tough. I
okay.
not wanna
and
lose
as American, I will say, oh, look at you, you're so old, stylish, ha 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 ha. Everyone, look at Ksenia, she is so outdated. People in modern world don't act like this. Everyone, forget Ksenia, she is bad.
She knows best, and she doesn't like Ksenia.
I'm very progressive, I'm very modern, and Ksenia is not modern at all.
I don't want to be modern. I want to be myself. Insecurity, it's a puff up. We're both puffing ourselves up. Puffing up, we're losing. Puffing down, we may win. We don't know yet.
Yeah, but how do I trust you? And I know you don't trust me either.
But at the moment when puffing up is causing a lot of damage.
Yes.
Wow, there's a lot of pain mentioned, even the speakers before.
Запад, Америка пытается, используя все это и подначивая все это, столкнуть два братских народа, и на это нужно ответить.
Я чувствую там высокомерие и безнаказанность.
Я не знаю, что делать дальше.
И вот я опять почувствовала эту стену, да, ну вот ощущение какой-то, ну, глухоты всеобщей.
Ты хочешь закрыть меня? У меня поднимается очень сильно ответ, что вот, да, запретили. А у тебя большой ответ на то, чтобы меня остановить, еще и изолировать это. Чё ж не подраться, понимаешь?
Ощущение, что ты хочешь просто взять мне и ударить по лицу.
There is one thing you said at the beginning, that maybe we need to open up that the conflict is something healthy. So, because I think in my culture they think, oh, if conflict happened, it means something is wrong. You know, we don't look at the conflict as a healthy thing, you know, or creative thing or something. We think, oh, what did I do wrong? I made a mistake. I'm a horrible family member, facilitator. I created a mess. I created a conflict. So to have conflict, then we stop speaking, then we break relationship. So that's the normal way out of.
Then we repress everything, and then we get back together, and then.
Yeah, then we try to forget. Yeah, right. It cycles, exactly, and the cycles are very painful. So, how conflict could be not cycling and healthy? So,
I think again that conflict is bad. Is part of the patriarch worldview, and I think if one male dominates the whole thing with his views, the patriarch, it's hard to have a conflict. You are never right. Your perceptions are never valued in such a vertical system.
Right.
But the female system, as we sometimes say, is more horizontal, more directed toward relationship. Whether it's female or male, but it's another energy. That can only develop against this patriarchy. That's why I think feminism and emancipation is so important, that there is another power stopping this one-sided, top-down ruler. If there is a rule, how can you
have
conflict or discuss? I mean, conflict is maybe a strong word, but it could also be a softer word for conflict. Is just various viewpoints, exchanging, dialogue.
Oh, but there is also emotions come with that.
Together with emotion, yes, and that's good. Emotions are part of it, and that they need to come out. Evolution through conflict. Through relationship. Relationship is always conflict, is always diverse viewpoints, emotions, negotiating between all that as an evolutionary principle. While this one oppresses, conflict builds walls. We exclude. Whatever we don't like, we exclude. This is more a model of inclusion. Whatever we don't like, we include. And I think it's a decision to come from here to there. And it's maybe also a natural process as the world develops. Mindell often says we're just a very young crowd, 200,000 years, 2 million years old. It's very young. Maybe it will develop in that direction.
Как так? Как так? Как такое могло получиться?
You're speaking of crying, you're very close to tears. I can feel that. Here we are, sort of again sensing this pain that we share. I think this is a great discussion. That's why I do the open forums, participate in open forums, to hear all of you.
I have to admit, talking at least about the personal state of mind, that after the forum, even though I felt okay and didn't feel like an emotional overwhelm or something, but I couldn't fall asleep for 4 hours once I got to bed. So it definitely was powerful whatsoever.
What do you think was powerful? What was different than maybe in the other forums? What was that power that kept you awake?
I feel like one of the key differences, I guess we'll discuss a couple of them, but one of them is something I mentioned in the end, that it felt much less structured, much more chaotic, much more led by the participants and just going into their dialogues and debates and fights. And it felt kind of difficult to contain during the process, but then as it went, I was like, perhaps that's something that needs to happen, because that's also the process of giving the authority, giving the agency back to the participants, okay, less structure from above. Just
killing the authority, here's the killer, yeah. Interesting. So that chaos was also helpful. I think that it allowed participants to be more active, to be more present. Well, that was a conscious decision of ours, that we wouldn't structure it by giving roles and predetermine sort of where we would go.
Завершилось время, многое осталось невысказанным, и признаю невысказанные и неуслышанные голоса, и в этот раз было ощущение в какие-то моменты, такого хаотичного, спонтанного галдежа и малого количества структуры, и в какие-то моменты форума меня как фасилитатора это слегка в растерянность повергало. А сейчас под конец я чувствую, что мне очень хорошо от этого, ровно в контексте того, чтобы мы могли проводить сами, продолжать регулярно эти форумы. По-моему, для этого нужна как раз эта динамика большего свободного между собой процесса, менее структурированного сверху.
My hope is really, dear Russians, that you continue setting up open forums amongst yourselves and to keep relating. I love to see you again someplace in Russia so we can learn a lot together. Thank you very much for being present. I say goodbye for now. Bye-bye, my friends. Oops, meeting has been ended by host. Okay. Oof, finished. Hard. My God. So Natalia, yes, tell us a little bit about yourself and your experience.
Ну, я одна из более чем 40 миллионов украинцев. Родилась в Украине, училась в Украине, проработала в Украине более 42,5 лет. Вышла на пенсию и хотела уже пожить для себя. И вот я решила, что когда я выйду на пенсию, я займусь собой. Займусь тем, что мне близко и радует меня. У меня была мечта пойти танцевать. Но в нашей стране случилась беда.
Shattered these dreams, you're saying. All these dreams were shattered for the moment.
Обрушились. Сломаны, обрушились. И сейчас только боль и страх. Боль за тех, кто там находится. За мою дочь, за зятя, за внука, за моих родных. Там у меня мама, сестра с семьей. И просто друзья находятся.
Fear that they're okay or not okay.
Конечно, мне страшно за их жизнь.
They don't want to flee.
Нет, не хотят. И поэтому вот боль и страх вызывают ненависть к тем людям, которые поломали жизнь.
And then that hate too. That's most difficult, you said. How is that? How is that? How is that most difficult? It's also most natural, I think.
Эта ненависть у меня немного гасится любовью и заботой тех людей, которые нам помогают. Когда мы приехали с внуком, нас встретили волонтеры. Мы познакомились со швейцарцами. И они проявили столько внимания и заботы, что вначале я все время плакала. И от страха, что будет дальше, и от неожиданной заботы, с которой меня здесь встретили. И здесь, в Швейцарии, именно в Цюрихе, Ольга стала моим ангелом-хранителем.
She is not Swiss, or she is Swiss, but she's also Russian. So isn't that somehow conflicting in you somehow?
Нет, у меня вообще здесь нет конфликта. Я отношусь к действиям человека. Не то, что написано в паспорте или в свидетельстве о рождении, а как человек относится к происходящему. Человека определяет не национальность, а его человечность. В украинском языке есть такое слово, как «людяність». Оно переводится на русский «человечность». Вот мне ближе даже «людяність». Людяність.
You're very wise. You're very wise. I'm still thinking of your dreams.
Я же думала, выйду на пенсию, перееду на дачу. У меня там речка, Днепр, ходить на рыбалку.
But somehow something tells you that this is unreachable now, or
Да.
I understand that territorially it's not possible in the moment. But somehow maybe we could explore, Natalia, how to live your dreams independently of this territory for the moment. Just as a suggestion. Maybe we could dance here. Right here. Here.
Ну, я не знаю.
Не знаю. What you don't know? You're a dancer. What type of dance? Preferably.
Ну, я не знаю, мне интересно все. И национальные, ну, в смысле, и классические танцы, и те же какие-то восточные. Не обязательно танец живота, ну, я не знаю, танго, не знаю. Мне все интересно.
Moving and feeling your body and making steps and dreaming into that.
Да.
Да, вот это мне интересно. Мне это интересно. А как я справляюсь? Вот мы с Ольгой ходили на озеро. Ты получаешь и визуальное удовольствие от красоты, и физическое удовольствие, когда ты находишься в воде, и вода ласкает твое тело. Ты тоже расслабляешься. И как ты снимаешь это напряжение и немножко как бы возвращаешься в мирную жизнь. Ну, здесь действительно мирная жизнь.
So that may be something important, Natalia, that I know of the tragedy and your trauma and all your pain and fear, and they're big. And they're real, Okay. We don't want to take it away, but on the other side, there is something in your body that can actually transcend all that and just feel really at home in your body, in the lake, which could help you with your fears and pains here, but also go into something like...
Так я стараюсь, и Оля меня этим исцеляет. Я просто подхожу, обнимаю, и ты уже чувствуешь тепло тела. Я стараюсь, я говорю, и ходить, смотреть на красивое.
You go to Olga, you hug, you... What else would help? To get into your dreams, to pick up your dreams again, although you're not at home, you're not in Ukraine, you're here. What would help you to go into your dreams? Dance, fish, swim, hug.
Это все важно. Это все очень-очень важно. Но самое главное мечта моя, чтобы наступил мир. У нас говорят, ну это, в гостях хорошо, а дома лучше.
Of course, I understand. That's painful. I don't want to take away the pain, you know, but also realize that you're living here now. Sure, you're uprooted, of course, you're uprooted, you're not at home, and that we all want peace. But these moments of playing and swimming and fishing and dancing, why wait? Maybe go dance. Maybe we should hook you up in a dance class. I tried once. I wasn't very
Я бы
successful.
хотела.
You could get up and go. Shall we try?
В смысле? Попробуем что? Идти?
Where
Куда?
shall we go? Where shall we go?
Я не знаю, куда угодно. Я не понимаю.
Look at that. She's like a dancer. She's like a dancer. Yeah, we could dance. Yes, exactly. And hug and go like this. Yeah. Anytime.